Who's ever watched The Nanny? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! It just grates on your nose. That's called timbre. The sound and the smoothness of your voice. Then you have prosody, that sing-song quality of your voice. You know they say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Close the door. 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 Just the way you say it adds meaning. But when you hear robots, it just has that flat effect. But that meta language inside the way your voice moves adds to the meaning of the words. Pace. You can speak quickly, you can speak slowly, or you can use silence. And silence also tends to have an impact, especially when you have the audience waiting to hear what you're going to say next, or you want them to think about what you just said. Silence is also a big part of making a presentation. And also it's a way to help you from saying, just pause. That's another way of working on your arms and legs. Just pause and think about what it is you want to say. Pitch, high or low. You can have you have persons who may have a high-pitched voice, or a low pitch. Again, vocal coaches work with persons in working with that. Volume. There are times when you have persons, I can't hear you, can you speak up please? Because again, you don't want them to have to work. And then at the same time, you can have somebody who's too loud. So it's a matter of finding that balance. Then the body language, eye contact. How do you feel when somebody's talking to you and they're looking over there? So came by the other day, but if you don't have that eye contact, you feel like they don't care or they probably try to hide something. Eye contact also draws us together. It shows that you're making that connection, part of your body language. And that is why a lot of times it's important. You know when somebody's reading a speech to you, how you feel? You feel somewhat disconnected. But when you make an eye contact, you're involved in that space, in that presentation. Demonstration, which is what I was doing a while ago. Whatever you're doing, demonstration also helps you to see or to emphasize a point that you're trying to make. And I'm going to do some more of this before my speech ends. Demonstration. Gestures. And so, my folks, Romans and countrymen, and you want to also add more to your presentation. Interestingly enough, gestures and voice variety helps your presentations to come alive. And role play. And he said, and she said, oh dear, no. And he said, and you realize that you have some persons when they do presentations, they actually play with accents. And you can see the individuals that they're talking about, and get it adds to your presentation. Stage use, not just standing on place, but you can walk around, and as you get closer to your audience, you invite them in. If you think about it, when persons are speaking, you don't normally have them like a mother and child. You don't have them interacting with an object between you. When you get closer, you become more intimate and more involved. These are the 3 points that I mentioned. Breathing, I want to talk about breathing before we go. Just make sure before you come back. Breathing is the last piece that I want to talk about. And with breathing, after all the practice I've done, persistent and consistent practice and doing the stock taking, I also realized that there's also always that one bit of energy, that power that I still have inside of me. And that's when I'm playing tennis, I inhale. When I inhale, I'm accessing that reserve and adding it to the movement of my body. Inhale, exhale. When you hear those tennis players, they're actually exhaling, but it gets louder and louder. Breathing also helps to calm us, and it helps to put you in that zone. It makes you more fluid in your movements. It makes me even more instinctive. So when I'm playing, I do this slow motion, when I'm playing, you become like water. You become like water, you become fluid. And so when I teach my students tennis, I always tell them, just breathe. When they're busy thinking, their mind gets in the way and they become mechanical. They become unnatural. And I tell them, pretend you're a kid again, with no care in the world. And you just see them in the playground. I try to get my students to become like that. And when they do that, the tennis begins to flow because they're not thinking. So too in public speaking. When I come up here, of course I've taken my deep breaths before I came here also, but it also allows me to center myself. But it also allows my thoughts that flow through me to come out as words. Voice coaches also talk about the importance of breathing. And they talk about the importance of it coming from your diaphragm. Breathing allows you to add depth and quality, again, to your voice. So, inspired words with a breath-induced voice can create a soft voice like this is done, but yes, it's still impactful. Or a breath-induced voice with inspiring words from Dr. Martin Luther King, I have a dream. Again, it comes from here. But regardless of your genetic makeup, or your circumstance, or your cause, you can still, like water, move a crowd into what you want them to see and understand. Okay? So there are three things that I would like to leave with you. That do not take advantage of the stock taking. When you do stock taking, do not take advantage of the skills that you're coming into. Anything, including public speaking, do not take them for granted. Also understand that there is no substitute for persistent and consistent practice. There is no substitute. And the more you practice, the more and faster your confidence improves for greater performances. And breathing. Breathing can take you to a level that you didn't even think you can go. Just like tennis. When I set up, I didn't even think I had more power inside of my body to hit the ball as hard as I can. And I sometimes hit the ball harder than some guys that I play with. And they wonder where I get it from, but that's the trick, breathing. And so I leave you with the words of one of my favorite sports persons, Bruce Lee. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now, you can put water into a cup. It becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle. It becomes the bottle. You put in the teapot. It becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend. Thank you.